the Ethics Commission and asked them if a nephew is considered immediate family. The answer is no. Your daughters, your in-laws are considered immediate family. Nephews, nieces are not. And so my vote counts. I still say no, and I'm gonna keep it that way.
Mr. Mayor, council, and the community, I would like to recuse myself from this vote. I have a conflict of interest.
We're gonna open it up to the public.
I don't know. We had a big discussion yesterday regarding 911. But we can, it's up to you. It's up to you, Ray, do you want to open it up for the public to have comments now, or not?
Yeah, let's go ahead. I'll read the appearance of an interested citizen. Members of the public desiring to address the board shall first be recognized by the presiding officer, then state their name and address for the record. Unless otherwise designated by the presiding officer, each person shall have up to 3 minutes to present comments. The board of directors and staff normally will not directly respond to a public comment during public comment period. Board and staff member comments will be held until the board comment period. Does anybody want to address the council?
I will.
Amanda O'Brien from Lake County. And I know I addressed most of you guys on Tuesday, and one of the things that I brought up was, the loss of jobs in this community. And
The what?
the loss of jobs in the community by closing our dispatch
So
center.
we have more jobs coming in right now with the cement. There's
Okay,
25 new jobs over there. I'm just throwing that out there.
okay, and it's my turn to speak right now, Mr. Farman.
Perfect.
So, based on the numbers of employees that were mentioned last time, that would mean that in wages, and these are all very rough estimates. It's costing the town in wages for those dispatchers about $220,000. And this is annually, yes. And so when money is earned locally, it's recirculated through the town at a rate of 67 cents per every dollar earned. So at $220,000 annually, that means that $147,400 of those dollars are being respent here in our community, at Bloomers, at Safeway, at Snack Shack, local. Some of these members would have to relocate due to the loss of jobs. And this is not including the loss that their spouses would then also lose their income. So there's also that recirculated income that I can't even put a value on. But assuming that some families have to move, I'm gonna say out of your employees, 3 families have to move. And again, this is all estimates. That would be a loss in school ADM funds to the school district of $54,280. Loss in property taxes from the 3 families who moved of $4,200. Loss in the water bill income from the 3 families of $2,550. I'm sure there's some expenses I haven't even thought of because I did this afternoon at 3 o'clock. The cost to upgrade the infrastructure yet on Tuesday was estimated at about $20,000. So, to save $220,000 in wages, it would cost our community $228,430 annually. And so, to me, that's not worth it. And I know that, the town times are tough, but you know, for these local families, we need to see what we can do to preserve those jobs.
I would like to address what we have in our proposed budget that we have in our budget. The salaries were $438,958.
Okay.
Okay, and they were more. We were having to pay $30,000 for holiday pay, $10,000 for overtime, $36,000 for the FICA, $130,000 for medical dental, and $80,000 for the retirement contribution, another $4,500 for the Social Security, another $4,600 for state accident. So there were a lot of more expenses in there regarding their salaries. And I agree, it's going to hurt the community, unfortunately. But I also want the town of Lakeview to continue to run. And if we don't do something, the town of Lakeview won't be running.
Sheila, how much overtime was out there?
So last year, the overtime amount was approximately 65,980 and
It was
change.
65 grand in overtime, just for what it's worth.
Yeah. And so it's unfortunate, and I wish we didn't have to make this decision. This is the hardest decision I've had to make in the entire 2 years I've been on this council. And it's hard, I haven't slept for 2 nights, so, you know, with it. And then, so, you know, if we kept 911, then Public Works would probably go away. And we need Public Works.
Can you guys have, I learned today that North Lake is not contributing to the 911?
They are
funds?
contributing, they are. Yes. Yep, they are contributing, so, yeah. If there's, I'll make a motion. Okay. Go ahead, there's another comment.
Okay,
One thing that I've seen in everything I've ever been involved with is, once it's gone, it's never coming back. So once you let this go, you will never get it back. This town will never have that service again, because that's just how it ends up working. And if there was any way that you could cut it down, I know you've probably done this, but nobody else knows that.
Could you state your name for me, please?
My name is Cheryl Bannister.
Thank you.
Below. And I live here in Lakeview.
Okay, thank you.
I grew up here and then I just moved back here. So I've been here forever, but not really. Anyway, but I mean, half of Lakeview is my cousin.
No, you're okay. I just needed it for the record.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyway, but I'm very, I mean, I've heard so many things in the last couple of years. This failing and that failing and this failing and that failing. And almost all of them, the big things are bad management. They're bad management, they've not been, nobody knows what they've been doing, and it's a secret. And it seems like everything's a secret.
I think that we're trying to not make it a secret. I think that this year we have an election coming up. If you don't care for the people, you know, Jay Farman is actually getting off, he's not running for re-election. Andrea was just appointed, so she has a 2-year term. I have 2 more years on my term. Charlie Pike is not running again, Ray Turner's not running again. It's going to be pretty much a whole new council. We have a new town manager, we have Sean, who has done a fantastic job as the interim. And I think that we are trying to fix the mistakes of the past. And unfortunately,
It takes time.
there's no money. That we weren't granted $2 million out there to keep what we had. We don't have it.
I think, how many people did you lay off, Sean? 1 or 2?
Well, I've laid off, off Public Works, 1,
1 off.
and then I
Public
also had to
Two
give,
from town hall, because
one
one
left.
from town hall,
and then a special project manager got a rest.
my previous
Scott Langham got
position.
laid off.
So basically
Dawn got
4.
her wages cut. Who else left?
Dean left.
Dean left, so
Dean
basically
Schultz, our
4 or 5.
911 director.
That's gone now.
Right.
We've laid off
Kaput.
probably
Gone.
5 people to
Right.
try to make this happen. So we've already laid off just about as many people here as work up there. And I hate that.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
would I like to lay off Dean Schultz? No, that was not a thing I wanted to do. Did I want to lay off Scott Langham? No, he was a friend of mine. I mean, it goes down the line, and people don't know that, and, you know, we don't put it in the paper because you don't put off people you lay off.
The other thing I would like, before the rumors start, because the town is broke, is the water treatment plant is still a go. And that's because any bills that come in are sent to the state then sends the money to pay those bills. So that when you look at our accounts, that money is not in our accounts, it's in the state accounts, and we have to show that the water treatment is actually bills for the water treatment.
It has its own budget.
It has its own budget. We can't take money out. There's no admin fee in the water treatment budget. They won't allow it. So that doesn't help us out. The county has the $2 million grant for the infrastructure, for the communications. It's only for infrastructure. It's not for anything else. If anyone has $1 million they'd like to give the town, that would be great. And then we can do it. You, right back there, okay, we got someone.
Well, not $1 million.
Yeah.
I'm John Jones, I'm from Paisley. The comment that I'd like to make is that this, Lakeview is responsible for running 911. But the payment for 911 comes from all of the users, the state, and the money, the majority of the money comes from outside of Lakeview. And that was all paid in. We had sufficient funds to get through this year, and now you're telling me it's gone. Where did it go? It cannot go away. It had to be a separate fund, and only the expenses of 911 should have been paid out of it. And there was enough to cover 911.
It's the user fees and what the state paid and what the county put in did not cover, and plus what the town put in, it cost us an extra $180,000 a year. We can't afford to put in an extra $180,000 a year.
So
That's the unfortunate part.
The initial amounts that we were then presented with and agreed to pay
Exactly.
was insufficient, is what you're saying.
Exactly, yes.
That's bad management.
Well, and we have new management.
Well, when you send out a bill and they don't have enough money to pay it at North Lake or wherever,
Everybody paid. Everybody paid a year ago
For this year.
for this year. And there should have been enough money to run through this year.
Where is it?
The town doesn't have their portion, unfortunately, the extra $180,000.
So the town didn't pay their bill?
To pay it, yeah. That's what they're saying.
The one thing that I found for myself in getting on the council, and with the change of management, we have found that there were bills that were not paid, that there were a lot of things that we are trying to figure out and straighten out, you know? And I agree with you, the money should have been put into a separate account. Unfortunately, it did not happen.
And moving forward, there'll be several different accounts to separate things. That's part of our plan. So then there'll be, different, for like the funds you see in our budget, those are gonna be separated in different accounts so that those funds stay within.
Within those accounts.
It's state law that kind of stuff has to be in a separate fund. So somebody should have been held liable.
I've been in Trina County.
So it's happened on several different projects and things that are going on here that nobody understands, and I can ask anybody, and they do not know what happened.
Yeah. And Tia's our new finance person and myself, we're trying to come and find out what happened too. When bank statements haven't been reconciled for 2 years, it's kind of hard to figure some things out. When things were GL'd incorrectly, that's, an issue as well. So do you want to?
Yeah, so,
Thank you.
number one, GL'd incorrectly means that there's a book. In basic terms, there's a book that everything gets dumped into from different, a journal for payroll, a journal for internet expenses. All of that gets dumped into this book and is all added together.
So like the general ledger? is that what you're
Yes.
saying?
Exactly.
Yep.
And so when things are put into the wrong, as if the journal entries are incorrect, then budgets kind of get skewed. But one thing that I am finding, and I am finding this more and more, is that there are checks clearing our bank account that were never input in the past, okay? So when you want to talk about mismanagement, please don't come at any of the people that are in this room currently,
No, I do.
because none of us had anything to do with it. Now, truth be told, there's deposits. I've found some smaller deposits that show up in the bank. So it's never a
It's
wash.
not matching.
It's never a wash. So,
I want to make it clear, I'm not blaming anybody.
oh,
Yeah.
well, and I'm saying
This is
this.
a long-term problem.
Yeah.
Yes, I am saying this in general. So what I'm personally in the process of doing is trying to go back for the last 2 years and redistribute where these things should have been, so that going forward, as we go into the next year and the next year after that, that the budget is going to be accurate. What it says we spent on office supplies, that is what we spent. So please understand, it's not an overnight fix. And, I mean, y'all can ask me any questions you want to about ledgers and everything, but at the end of the day, when it's done incorrectly for so long, it typically can take up to twice as long to fix it.
I agree.
So, and Stuart, you are fully aware of that because you did your time in the military doing accounting, so.
Hire him. Maybe you need help.
We can't afford
My
it.
biggest thing is it's been going on for about 3 years.
Name is Stuart, I live here locally in Lakeview. And yes, of course, you pulled my covers there. Yeah. I did accounting in the service, yes I did, I did double entry accounting. I had the opportunity a few years ago to review the budget here in Lakeview. And I witnessed a bit of forced accounting. So my next question is, going forward, you said you've been finding all these different expenditures, whatever. Are we going to establish that they're legitimate expenditures, and if not, is anybody going to be held liable for those?
As far as somebody
Legitimate
being held
expenditures.
liable, I am not in a position to speak to that. That would be council, mayor,
Well, I just-
town manager.
Council.
But I am bringing these things to the light. I let Sheila know, and then, she lets me know if I need to keep digging for more information.
And we've also been working with the auditors. They were
Yes.
just here
That was
for a
my
week.
next question. Do you have any outside auditors come in and assist?
Yeah,
Yes.
Qual Financial is coming.
Thank you.
Yes.
So,
They just spent a week
I
with
can't
us.
speak to whether or not there'll be any type of,
Repercussions.
repercussion, thank you.
But there's checks and balances in place now.
Yes,
So, you know, somebody here like us three, we're normally up here, we can see what the other one, if something's weird.
yeah.
So that's a big change from how it's been.
See, about,
Okay.
I wanna say last year, Stuart, we voted as a council, any check over $5,000, one of us had to sign.
One out of
Should
five.
should be 2 signatures.
It is now.
And as of
So we
now,
need 2
there are
signatures on
2
anything.
signatures
On
on
everything.
every check
Right, yeah.
that come out of this building.
Perfect.
Yeah, so that was one of the things that I wanted to have done, so we knew where the money was going. Yes,
Wouldn't it be possible for you guys to make the public aware of what you're doing and how you're doing it and in these things you're trying to fix and some of these things that you're mentioning, because that's what I feel when I'm talking to somebody, they're frustrated, they don't know if anything's happening, they don't know if everything's still going south on them, and they don't have any idea, and
So,
so for-
I love that idea, but how would you like us to come about that? Should we put an ad in the paper? Should we post it on Facebook?
Yes.
A radio a public service announcement on the radio station?
No, but after this.
But if you don't come to the meetings, you don't know.
Well, not everybody's ever gonna come
Well,
to the meeting.
I'd like to address the council. My name's Scott DeRocher. I'm a 6-year resident. This is my first time ever being here. It affects me because of the 911 services that we're discussing. 6 years I've known this town's been on going off the railroads for a long time. I'm not even a local, and I don't have to know that we're misappropriating funds. That's what you guys are telling us that the old administrations did before, right?
We're not saying they misappropriated funds.
Well, we
What we're
can't find where
saying-
any of our money went. But
No,
they did.
There
They-
wasn't
they-
any
they-
misappropriation.
You guys are
They
funding.
wrote
The
checks.
funds were spent.
Sometimes you overspend your budget,
Exactly.
and that's what's happened.
But now that the checks and balances are in place, it's very hard for the community to trust you guys. And it's
I
not
agree.
you. It's
I
not,
agree.
like I said,
Yeah,
I'm not
I
taking
agree.
shots at the
Yeah.
people that are sitting
Yeah.
here at all. But this is like, I've known this for 6 years and now you guys are waiting 3 months to address it?
No, we've talked about it.
You talked about it, but I'm saying to address it, not just
Well, we
discuss.
could have, I guess we could have closed it down 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
I mean, I guess we could have. I don't know.
But that's what I mean, and now the community is hearing it today. Today. You're saying 4 years ago.
Well, it wouldn't have made any difference.
Well, you're telling, like I said, it's very abrupt. It could have been a very gradual, slow process instead of just 911's done in 2
Well,
months.
we can vote today to keep it, but I just don't know how we're gonna.
And I understand.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
mean,
why I'm
if
saying,
everybody wants me to vote
no,
to
no.
keep it, I will.
It's
I mean,
not, again, it's not the people that
I
are
work for
sitting in
you
these
guys.
chairs. It's the frustration. I'm just trying to voice someone of the community in the last 6 years. I've known this is going off the rails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, 3 months before time is up and funds are out, now we're
I
addressing it.
think you should have come in and shared that.
I just was known. I just got known 3 months ago, like I said, last month, when this all came out. Now I'm here, because it's like, had we been discussing
So
this,
which way do we get it out to the community?
You guys have
If we put it on
Facebook?
Facebook, we put it on Facebook,
with no
it's on there.
comments,
and that,
That's okay.
it's been in the paper.
That's why I'm-
The
that's why I'm here
radios,
now.
I don't believe have, I don't know if this notice has had it.
but it just affects the people that I work
Now.
with, and I care about dearly, and this community that I'm not really from,
Yeah, so.
you know?
There's somebody online.
Okay.
Okay, you'll have to talk just a little bit louder. Go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Oh, hi. My name's Renee Henderson. I'm actually one of the dispatchers who work at 911. And, I know we've been having financial issues for a while, but I mean, I found out in an email Monday that I was losing my job in December. And I know where the money mostly went to was overtime. I mean, I just worked 69 hours on my last check of overtime. I don't want to work that much overtime. I just got married not too long ago, and we're just really short-staffed. And we finally got 2 new people in there, but it's going to take us a while to train. We've been asking for new people for over a year to come in, but there was no hiring up until that point. So we're all burnt out and we're spent. And just to find out that we're going to be laid off in 2.5 months time, I mean, in the most respectable way, that's a real kick in the teeth for all of us. Because there's been many times where my 12-hour shift has turned into a 24, a 36, a 48, a 60, and I've I've worked a lot of time just to find out that I'm getting laid off in an email. It's it's hurtful in a way. And I mean, we're, like I just said, we got married.
I'm curious to know who sent the email.
And I'm just, if we had a little bit more time, we can figure something out. We're willing to go back to 24s, we're willing to adjust, we're willing to do a lot.
Can I ask who sent the email?
Oh, let me see.
Go ahead and ask her.
She's looking to see.
I got, I'm with the Paisley Disaster Unit. We're one of the users of the 911 system. I understand Lakeview wants out, I understand why, but I need to know what's gonna replace the 911 system. We have to have a 911 system.
Right, and that's, I wish you'd been at the meeting on Tuesday, the work session at 4 o'clock, because the,
It wasn't advertised, so nobody knew that.
Well,
it was,
Renee,
Yes,
did you find who sent the email?
yes, it was actually our union rep, Rod Allenquist.
okay. And that,
but there's nothing been negotiated.
if you talk to Mike Taylor and Will Behan, they have been, and Barry Schulenberger have all been working and in communication.
So there is going to be a replacement
Yes.
if you guys
Yes.
decide to get out.
Yes, yes,
Is that gonna get announced here today?
We talked about it on it.
yeah, so, anyway.
So,
Is that secure? I mean, what happens if there's problems with internet or anything else?
Yes, I could address that real quick. Sure.
Thank you.
Try to be brief. So Scott Hill with the Oregon State Police here in Lakeview. So yeah, the current plan, the best option and pretty much our only option is switching over to Klamath County 911. So Klamath County 911 dispatches for all of Klamath County. I think they're the third largest dispatch center in the state. They have some excellent dispatchers. It's a very good service. Our infrastructure is already set up to support it. So we can literally get some IT people together and turn it on today. And they'll be able to dispatch on all our towers. There's a redundant microwave backup that ODOT and the state police use that they can use in the interim. We already made those connections. And so if internet goes down, power goes down, there's generator backups and there's microwave backups for send digital information back and forth. So it's essentially backed up. So I think it's going to be a good solution. I know there were some concerns about not having local dispatch because they don't know the area, but I kind of talked about yesterday a little bit that the state police, my dispatch center that dispatches us is in Central Point, and they dispatch me here for 20 years, and we just don't have those problems. So I think it's going to be a good solution.
Just what's unknown is what's it gonna cost.
We don't have.
Yeah, there's no numbers that's
There's no
really been
numbers.
discussed. Numbers that they have kind of discussed came from our current budget. So that's all would have to be in negotiation.
So it might be more than what we're even spending now?
Most likely it wouldn't be.
Looks like it's going to be pretty close to what everybody's currently paying, approximately. So
What it is, I think the state gives us $500,000,
Then what?
the state of Oregon,
Expenses.
and then we put in 70, and the county commissioners put some in, and then Paisley and the other people. Klamath, I think, will probably run it for that.
But again, there's been no paperwork, nothing.
Right.
It's been
We have
mostly
no
discussed
IGAs yet.
between, yeah, it's been discussed between Klamath and the county. The town really hasn't interacted.
How could you vote on something when you don't have the details?
Because that's a separate,
Well, no, it's not
Piece.
separate because you're trying to save money.
Well, we have to say we're not gonna do it before that goes forward.
right.
there's certain legal steps that we're required to do.
We have to go.
And it doesn't happen right away. It doesn't happen right away.
Yeah, I get it, but
All right, hey,
it's,
we're getting out of hand here. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. I can't speak for the county, I can speak as a resident of the county, and what information I've, received over the last 2.5 years since the 911 dispatch users group started up to try to, work toward the solution of the county's, or the town's cost having to represent or having to operate 911, and maybe how to share that a little bit about the county. But the town's responsibility here, as it was on Tuesday, and as it was at the informal community meeting in Paisley on Thursday, the town decided, and only 2 council members from the town showed up because 3 could,
Make it more.
could be considered an official meeting. You can't have an official Lakeview meeting outside the jurisdiction of Lakeview, you can't have it in Paisley.
Right.
So what was declared Thursday by Jay, and I think Charlie were
Yes,
both
I was
there, was that the town of Lakeview, effective December 31st, is no longer providing 911 dispatch service, period. Now, the town reps that were there, as well as some reps from the Klamath County 911 Dispatch Taxing District. It's not the county, it's not the town, it's a taxing district that was created to fund that operation. As well as Commissioner Schulenberger, the town's attorney was there, and a bunch of interested folks and users as well from emergency services. There was some delving into the reasons why. And the reasons why on Thursday morning, the reasons why on Tuesday in this same room, and the reasons why today are the same. The town has no money. It's not a question of whether anybody on the town council or any Lakeview or even county residents, because let's face it, dispatch is a town function right now, but it's a county-wide interest. It has county-wide impact. The reasons why some might want to keep it local, and some say go to the Klamath Taxing District, and some say the sheriff's office maybe can take it over, so on and so forth. While important, because those convey all of our feelings as taxpayers and some local residents, they're really irrelevant. The elephant in the room is here, and I believe them if they tell me this, there's no money for the town to continue to operate. Regardless of if the smaller agencies in the North Lake can afford to give more, regardless of if the town can even put in more its own into the town dispatch, regardless if the county can kick in more. And I can tell you the answer to all those are no, because I know the budgets of probably about 5 of the people I just mentioned, 5 agencies. But the topic is the town cannot run it, and they have determined as early, and maybe earlier than, but as of the Thursday community meeting in Paisley, the town has stated, we cannot and will not run dispatch or operate or whatever the vernacular is past December 31st. That requires, though, a vote. The purpose of Tuesday's special session, which because from experience, I kind of share some of the concerns that maybe more could be done in terms of advance notice to the public, but I know that the Tuesday special session here was posted, and I believe it got posted on the Town of Lakeview's Facebook page at the very least. The website's still out of service, that's nobody's fault.
Today that kind of got fixed, it doesn't look beautiful.
Yeah, I don't think it's reliable though.
It doesn't look beautiful.
But regardless of that, it's a side
get
issue.
to it. At
least pay your bill.
Excuse me, yeah, but that's a side issue. The notice was properly posted within the confines of the legal mandates on Sunday afternoon. I don't know what time, but it was more than 24 hours notice, so it stands. So that's why there was a meeting here Tuesday in the same room. And the discussion, much of the same, while not invalid, much of the same as we're hearing here today. The vote was taken, and the vote was 2-2 among the 4 council members who were here to vote. Well, I'm not gonna blame anybody for how they vote in anything, whether it's a national election, a town council meeting, hell, a water district board meeting. I don't care how you vote, I care that you show up, educate yourself, and then vote however you feel. Because that's the purpose of having, public government of any level. So they had a vote. And then sometime in the last 24, 48 hours, they decided to schedule another special session with 24 hours notice or better, properly. And they're here again to discuss it, and it doesn't say on the agenda, but I gather perhaps to have another vote. So that's the core issue here. I'm not saying in discounting the importance or the seriousness or the accuracy of anybody's public comment. It's all valid, and the questions are too. But just as an individual, I have no stake. I don't work for the county. I'm not even part of a public safety board anymore. I'm just here. But I think, with all due respect to you guys, dictate your own agenda. I think we've reached the point where a vote needs to be taken. And I don't know if somebody disagrees, tell me I'm wrong, I don't mind.
I think there's one more question on the,
Go ahead, Renee.
Oh, no, I already said my piece.
Okay.
Could I say one? Oh, you wanna say,
Absolutely,
Dave?
go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I'm just about done with 4 years, but my first year here, I was trying to figure out why the town of Lakeview was paying for 911. Then I knew Paisley was paying some and everything else. But for the life of me, I went to the county commissioners' meetings for a long time and asked them to take it over. Why aren't you guys taking over 911? The county commissioners. There's 2,000 people live in Lakeview, there's 8,000 people in the county. Figure it out, go to do the math. Why, and that's why I always had a hard time with it. Now, that's not gonna affect my vote because, but I think the county commissioners should have taken this over, long time ago. That's just my personal opinion.
All right, let's move on.
Dave Knowles has a question.
Dave Knowles has one.
Yeah.
So, I'm Dave Knowles, I'm the county assessor, and the comments I'm about ready to give you do not reflect anything of the commissioners. The commissioners are their own elected officials, I'm an elected county assessor. My office and department distributes $14 million to taxing districts. I'm here to tell you folks and the board the gravity of the situation of our economics that we're faced with right now. Lake County has unique demographics. We're the third largest county in the state, but we're only 24% of our county is privately held. 76% of our county is on state and federal property. So that means our taxing pool has shrunk considerably. Out of that 24%, 65% of that is EFU farmland, which has a low taxing rate, okay? So our ability to generate taxing revenue is minimal. 3/4 of our money doesn't come from Collins Pine, ZX Ranch, and these bigger players. It comes from utilities. It comes from power transmission lines. It comes from Ruby Pipeline. It comes from communication places. It comes from cell towers. So that's where the bulk of our money comes from. Now, you guys are all intelligent, and you've all been watching television, and we all see our administration, and this Build Back Better is not really working good for us. And CenturyLink went bankrupt, and then become CenturyTel went bankrupt, become CenturyLink. CenturyLink went bankrupt, and they become Lumens. Lumens went bankrupt. Every time one of those utilities goes bankrupt, the Department of Revenue, who values utilities, has lowered the value. So our income stream keeps getting smaller and smaller. The shot and the harpoon to our county was the Ruby Pipeline. Ruby Pipeline is intended to have gone over to Coos Bay and had a port where they ship natural gas out. In 2013, they wrote a check for Lake County for $4.9 million in one taxpayer. I collect $14 million. That's putting all of our rocks in one pocket, okay? They chugged along and depreciated down a little bit and everything was fine. The economy started going south. It's valued on an income stream basis, not the cost of the pipe that's in the ground. It kept getting devalued. With the Jackson County environmentalists stopping the pipeline going to the coast, that was deadheaded. With California stopping the sale of natural gas pipes or appliances and no homes being built with it, natural gas is dead in the water. It went bankrupt. It sold for over only $20 million. Our check from Ruby Pipeline last year to the county to take taxes was only $368,000 compared to $5 million. That's a hit. The other utilities are several $1 million. It's coming down. Our county had a $1.2 million deficit we had to adjust, just like these guys are having to do. We had layoffs of 6 people in our office out of about 40 in there. It's a very painful, but no one likes it. I grew up here, my kids grew up here, my grandkids grew up here. I'm just like you guys. I hate seeing losing services. And I'm not here with an agenda from the county saying you should vote one way or the other. I'm just saying, I'm agreeing with what the chime has been today. The resources are not here. The town of Lakeview is incredibly insolvent right now. They're a dead town walking, they just haven't fallen over yet. I have
No
been-
offense, though.
No offense, Dave. I have been working with the town since 2016 with budgeting. Unfortunately, I've had a view of their budget higher than most of anybody else in this room. And we've had some, in the last 3 town managers, the previous 2 have cooked the books. Right now, the budget is being reviewed by the Oregon State Department of Revenue. They've overstated some of their income, they've understated some of their expenses, trying to balance the budget, trying to make it work. Their heart and intention's in the right spot, and that's not a good thing. That was what was handed to our town manager from the budget board. I worked with all 3 town managers. I quit working with the last one. I went to a meeting. She had misled this board so poorly in her tenor, it was making me sick. I would call her out on it and she'd say, well, I've got it all fixed, I'm gonna do this or that. You don't know the whole picture. And I don't, because I don't want to. I can't be politically involved in this. But I quit interacting with her because I couldn't be, she had no integrity. And she did some very not so good things. And I feel sorry for this board because they were painted a picture and they were led down a path that was incorrect. And now they're suffering for it. And our whole community is suffering for it, and it's a shame. But the truth of the matter is, the town manager that we have right now, since she's taken over, her ethics and her ability to provide accurate information is so much stellar better than what we've ever seen before. When Michelle was in office, the only person I could get a straight answer from was Dawn. And anyway, it's just the way, that's just the facts of life. When you hear this saying is they don't have the money, I'm here to back that up. They don't have the money. And it's gonna take a lot of effort on a lot of people's parts, and then a lot of people are gonna get hurt over the deal. But the town is very insolvent. That's all I can tell you.
All right, we need to move on. Let's get on down to the 911 dispatch. Okay, you did
I'm going to make a motion.
Yeah.
Okay, I move for the following, that the town cease providing dispatch services and close the dispatch center effective no later than December 31st of 2024. That the town initiate the employee transfer process if required under applicable Oregon law, and authorize the mayor, town manager, and legal counsel to provide all notices, pursue all agreements, and sign all legal documents and instruments necessary or appropriate to close the dispatch center.
Okay. Motion's been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's made and second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Aye. Like I said, I was not changing my vote. I still don't feel that we need to lose our dispatch center and our people lose their jobs. So, all right, do we have any other business? I have none.
I have none.
Okay. Staff have any comments?
Oh, no.
All right. Hearing none, we'll adjourn the meeting at 5:11.
Thank you for